Hey, hi, hello, my name is dis.cat. This is Project Hardcover, where we're letting books be the escape. Hello, lovelies, and today I have a book haul for you guys. Today I have my September and October book haul. That's right, September and October. So if I'm talking really fast, that's because there are a lot of freaking books. That's right, I was super busy in both September and October, so I didn't have time to do separate book hauls. So I'm gonna do it now because, oh my goodness, there are so many books that I need to haul, and as I mentioned before, this month is my birthday month, so I'm gonna get a lot of books for my birthday, and then I'm gonna have to haul those. So I just wanted to hurry up and get these out of the way before even more books came. A lot of these books have already made an appearance on this channel, but they haven't officially been hauled. So I'm just going to throw them in here, and I'll let you know which wrap-up you guys can go to see my thoughts on those books that I have already read. And with that being said, let's get started. Naturally, I'm going to be starting with September's books. And first up, we have my hardback edition of I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zusak. As you guys know, this is my favorite book of all time by my favorite author of all time. So if you want to hear my thoughts about this book, just check any of my previous videos. I'm sure I mentioned this book at least once in every video on this channel. Next, we have Everybody Sees the Ants by A.S. King. You can check out my thoughts on this book in my September wrap-up. I will leave the link to that down in the description. Then we have Ask the Passengers by A.S. King. Next, we have The Infinite Sea, which is book 2 in the Fifth Wave trilogy by Rick Yancey. You can find some of my thoughts on this in my September wrap-up, but not a lot of them because I do still plan on doing a review for this. It's just, oh man, college. I mean, seriously, why do booktubers think that they can do the college and the booktube at the same time? It's probably because Reagan from Peruse Project manages to make it look painfully easy, but it's not. Then we have Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Next up, we have Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alirsanez? Does anyone know how to say this dude's name? Next up, we have Strega by Karen Monahan Fernandez. You guys can look forward to my thoughts on this in my November wrap-up. Next up, we have Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld, which is the first book in the Leviathan trilogy. Next, we have Generation Dead and Kiss of Life by Daniel Waters, which are the first 2 books in the Generation Dead trilogy. I'm pretty sure this is a trilogy. Then we have Winger by Andrew Smith. You guys can check out my thoughts on this in my September wrap-up. Next up, we have A Great in Terrible Beauty and Rebel Angels, which are the first 2 books in the Gemma Doyle trilogy by Libba Bray. You can check out my thoughts on A Great in Terrible Beauty in my November wrap-up. Then we have Punkzilla by Adam Rapp. Then we have City of Glass, which is the 3rd book in the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare. And lastly, in the month of September, we have Clockwork Prince, which is the 2nd book in the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. You guys can check out my thoughts on this in my November wrap-up. Alright, and those are all of the books that I got in September. Now we're going to mosey on over to October. First up for October is Hyperbole and a Half, Unfortunate Situations, Flawed Coping Mechanisms, Mayhem, and Other Things That Happened by Ali Brosh. You guys can check out my thoughts on this in my October wrap-up. Next up, we have 172 Hours on the Moon by Johan Harstead. Next is The Duff by Cody Keplinger. Then we have Stolen by Lucy Christopher. After that, we have The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. Then we have Forgive Me, Leonard Peacock by Matthew Quick. Next up, we have a hardback edition of Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor, which is the 2nd book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, which is my favorite book series of all time. You guys have been watching this channel for a while. You guys know that I did have this book in paperback, but I went to Books A Million and I found a hardback edition which matches my other 2 books. so I had to pick it up. If you guys want to see a review that I did for this book and the series in general, I will leave links to that down in the description. Next up is Poison Study by Maria V. Schneider, which is the first book in the Study series. I think that's what it's called. I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive. Next up is Seconds by Brian Lee O'Malley. You guys can check out my thoughts on this in my October wrap-up. After that, we have White Cat by Holly Black. This is the first book in the Curse Workers trilogy. Next, we have Siege and Storm by Lee Bardugo. This is the second book in the Grisha trilogy. Next up, we have Bones of Fairy by Johnny Lee Simner, which is the first book in, I believe, a trilogy, and I'm not entirely sure what it's called. Next is Need by Carrie Jones, which is the first book in the Need series. Next is Lips Touch 3 Times by Laini Taylor. And finally, the last book that I got in October was The Iron Trial by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black, which I am currently in the process of reading, and it's signed! And that's it! Those are all of the books that I acquired in the months of September and October, and just, oh man, so many books, so many books. But I do feel so much better about the whole thing knowing that I have read quite a few of those already. As I mentioned, I will leave links to the wrap-ups and all of the reviews and junk for the books that I have already read down in the description. I will be talking about some of these books in my wrap-up at the end of the month, and you guys can expect a birthday book haul at the end of this month as well. As always, thanks you guys for watching. I will see you next time, and remember, books are the escape.